In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the letter H using a rubber band loom. I'll be using a rainbow loom, but you can use any brand of loom that has the pins in a straight row. And since I'm only going to be working with one row of pins, I have removed the other two, but if you have a loom that the pins don't come off, that's okay. You will need 19 rubber bands to make the letter H, and I've decided to do each section of the H in a different color so it's easier for you to see, just because this one's a little bit trickier than some of the other ones. So I have 8 white, 8 black, and 3 gray rubber bands. For every band I place on the loom, it's going to be doubled, so in order to do this, I just place it on my hook, twist, and put it back on, so you see the 2 rubber bands. And I'm going to be starting on the end pin. I want the arrows to be facing away from me. And I'm just going to go to that next pin up. And I'm going to place the length of 6 rubber bands on the loom. They're always going to be doubled, and they're always going to just go to that next pin every time. And also, as you're placing these on the loom, you want to make sure that you're pushing each rubber band down to the bottom so we have room to add the next layer on top. So that is my 5th rubber band. I'm going to do one more. And now for the second layer of rubber bands that I am going to place on, I'm going to be starting on the 4th pin up from the end of the loom. I'm going to count to that 4th pin up. I'm going to double this band, and now I'm going to place the length of 6 rubber bands going up the loom again, starting on that 4th pin. So I am going to put the 3 gray rubber bands on. And then I'm going to do the 3 black rubber bands. And now I want to add a 3rd layer. It's going to start on this pin here, and if you're counting from the end of your loom, it's going to be the 7th pin up from the end, and I'm going to place 3 more rubber bands. So you want to make sure these lower bands are pushed down so you have room to add the next layer here. Again, these are going to be black. And so now on this end pin, I want to place a cap band. It's going to be black, and in order to do this, I'm putting it on my hook, twist, put it back on, twist, put it back on, twist, and put it back on so that it is quadrupled. You can see the 4 bands. I'm going to put that right on the top. If you find that your rubber bands aren't very stretchy and you're struggling to do this, you can just triple that. Now I'm going to turn my loom around, and you can see I have these 2 layers on. I'm not doing anything to the bottom layer. I'm going to put my hook down through the middle. I'm going to push back on these top 4 bands. That's the cap band I just placed on. I'm grabbing the next 2. Again, I'm leaving the bottom 2 alone. I want to hold this cap band in place. I'm going to move these out and forward. And now I'm going to work my way up the length of 3 rubber bands. This is that very top 3rd layer we had placed on. And now what I want to do is put my thumb over top of this pin, and I want to remove the bands that I just looped but I don't want them to come off where I'm having my thumb. I'm going to remove these bands and I'm going to put them out to the right. I want them to go straight out. And now I want to place another cap band on the pin that's closest to me here. That's the end. Again, it's going to be black and it's going to be quadrupled. It's going right on the top. Now I want to loop these next 3 bands. So I'm putting my hook down through, pushing back on the top 4, and I'm getting these bottom 2 to come out and forward. Just working my way up here. Now again, I'm going to place my thumb on this same pin. This time I want the bands to come off and move out to the left. And again, I wanted them to go straight out. And now if you look, you can see that we have 2 layers on. These next 3 rubber bands have 2 layers. And so we only want the top layer. We're not doing anything with this bottom white layer. This is why I use different colors so you could see it clearer. So we're going down through the middle, pushing back on all of these upper black bands. I want to grab the next 2 bands in line. They're going to be these 2 gray rubber bands. This is going to be tight, so just be careful as you're pulling it out. You may have to go back and forth to make it loose. I'm just going to be looping these top rubber bands. And now what I want to do is I want this upper layer to come off. So I'm going to place my thumb on this pin. I'm reaching my hook down through the end here where these black bands are. And I'm just going to release this. And then I want to move it out to the right. So now you can see the gray bands are the center and the black bands are the right side of the letter. And now starting on the pin that's closest to me, once again I need to place a cap band. And I'm going to quadruple it. Put it right on the top. And now all I have left to do is loop this row. So I'm going down through and just getting the bottom 2. This is our last layer, so we're just going straight up. Now this pin where they connect is definitely going to be full. So you're going down through all of the upper bands, getting the bottom 2. Again, just be careful as you're pulling this up through. You may have to wiggle it a little to just get it loose. And then continue up. And now at the very end here, what you're going to do is place your hook through, out to the side, get your last rubber band, pull that up, put the loose end back on your hook, and now you can remove this. It's going to be tight here where they connect. And you want the band that's closest to the end of your hook to loop through the other and pull that snug so it makes a slip knot. And then here is your letter H, and you may have to adjust it a little bit. You want the ends to be nice and straight, and then the middle, and then get your other side straight up and down. And then there is your letter H. Now when you make your letter H, you may want to use all of the same color. I just did these 3 different colors for the different sections so it would be easier to see which bands to grab. I'll show you a letter H that I made using all blue rubber bands. So I know this one's a little trickier to do, but hopefully you were able to follow along. You can always leave me comments on YouTube and Facebook, post pictures of your creations to my Facebook page, and please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of my latest tutorials. You can also find me on Pinterest and Instagram, so please feel free to subscribe to those as well. Thank you!